just entered the bear crawling nation on the No Agenda Street.
This is R. Mordant, and welcome to the other side of live. Welcome everybody to the #1 late night, late getting ready motivational talk show, otherwise known as the other side of live. Tonight's working title is The Consistency Conundrum, and if I could say it, that would be even better. Tonight I am live from Cornelius, North Carolina, and my cohort, my partner, my friend, the dark side of positive, Charles McFall, is live from Monticello, Georgia, in the Bears Den. Go ahead, Charles. Say hi to everybody.
My city's not named after an ape in a movie.
I know, right? One of my favorite movies, too.
I know. The first day I was like, Cornelius, you're at Cornelius's house? That's awesome.
I know. Most people don't know what that is.
I don't know.
How are you doing, my friend?
I am good. I had my speaking lessons with the lovely Lala Siegfried today. She got me somewhat straight.
It went very well.
I can say something conundrum. I don't remember what the first part is.
And you did good on the word conundrum. I had a hard time with that.
Consistency conundrum. That's what it was.
Consistency conundrum. You know, I've been watching too much Big Bang Theory, and all of their shows are titled with, something like that. The Consistency Conundrum.
I like that show, but I could not tell you the first title on any of them.
I like Friends, where they usually say something like, the one where Ross does this, or the one where Monica blah,
I've got a quick, you know what?
You have to leave?
No. I'm noticing that something's not right here. And unfortunately, we have to check this right now. I need you to pull up your settings in the butt.
Okay.
Stop the broadcast.
Okay.
For some reason, it's not showing. It didn't pick up.
It says stop recording.
Yes, that's fine too. I'm recording on this end. I do apologize for everybody.
I have called that up.
Is your port under the setting, under the edit? What's your port number?
9994.
Right. Why it's not? It didn't pick up for some reason. Now it's picking up. And how's it picking up? Are you still broadcasting?
I have no idea. Oh, I've shut it. I've shut it down. So, those of you listening to the podcast,
what is going on?
If you haven't edited this out yet, I stopped recording. Maybe it is still.
Hit play, and hit record, and then carry on.
All right. Here we go. Saving the settings.
It must have been Gitmo's in.
And now I'm going to go ahead and hit play.
So I do apologize because we're not going to edit that out. Or we might if you want me to. I will. I'll do that. But I just saw that it's not picking up.
To live broadcast.
Right?
Thank goodness that we had an extra spare 2 minutes and a live audience. I have people gawking at me, wondering and at the professionalism that is the other side of live. Can they hear us?
You're back up, but it didn't. I don't know what's going on. Man, it started. Something's wrong with the code. And it started 3 minutes late, so it made me think that it wasn't working. Then it worked right before we told it to stop working. So guess what? It's not working now.
All righty then. So the consistency conundrum.
Right? We definitely are having consistency issues here.
Well, last week, should I even mention? You let me know when they can hear us.
No, we got to carry on. We're doing a podcast as well.
I don't understand. Let me know when they can hear us, because then I'll give them the phone number.
All right. So what did we do last week?
All right. Last week on Tosol episode 48, it was my life to-do list. We talked about a couple of things. We talked about, of course, our life to-do list, and we talked about avoiding behavior. Not just avoidance behavior, but avoiding behavior, the type of a behavior that a lot of us have when we're inching our way towards success, and yet we start avoiding those things that need to be done to actually get there. Have you ever had something like that?
Yes, and I'm avoiding talking about it because I'm trying to fix it.
That's great. Well, on our life to-do list, we had things like be fearless, be a good friend, follow your dreams, fall in love, find a passion and pursue it, be good to yourself. And every once in a while, my personal thing is you should throw something in the mix that just, stirs up trouble, which means, do a live broadcast and have things go south a little bit. So that way you can challenge your character. That way you can see who you really are when you're facing adversity. Can you tell that I'm shucking and jiving right now?
What does that even mean?
Oh, I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
Can they hear us yet?
No. Did I not tell you I would tell you? Did I say I told you I would tell you?
Fine. Well, the consistency conundrum came about because we got a message from a good friend of ours, and I don't want to throw him under the bus, so I'm hoping that he's going to call in tonight, but we'll see about that. And his question is, what is your best advice on how to turn knowledge into consistent, positive action? I can quote positive affirmations till I turn blue, but in 5 minutes, I find myself with negative, destructive thought processes derailing my positive energy. So I know that I've experienced that, where you're on your positive path to moving forward and being successful, and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and everything's great, and all of a sudden something will happen, and you're like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe this is maybe I'm not supposed to do a live radio show because things happen. But no, that's not that. It's testing your mettle. It's sometimes the hard things that happen to you happen so that you can just get used to them. Because I remember last year when we were broadcasting off a stick cam, and this happened on a regular basis, you just got used to the bad stuff happening, so that when it happens this year, it's like, let's keep moving. That's what I have to say about that. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
That's excellent.
They can't hear us. So I try to figure it because Angie's confusing me. She's typing in that I can hear you now. I'm like, you really? Because the server's saying no. No, you can't hear me. The server says no. No. And she goes, oh, it's the ride along. That doesn't help me.
Do you want me to check the settings one more time?
No, it's not you. I see you online. I saw you online before. And consistency conundrum there, dude. It's telling me 0, which means it's not broadcasting. It's telling me 0, it's not broadcasting. 3 minutes in, it's telling me 0 is not broadcasting, which makes me panic a little bit because it's not broadcasting. So I checked the last thing just to make sure, and that's when they could hear us. And by the time you hit stop, they're going, oh, no, we can hear you now. Inconsistent starting times for the robots, man. For the robots.
All right. Well, all that being said, that's not what our show is about tonight. We're talking about people wanting to, when you want to move forward with whatever it is that you're chasing, whatever your goals are, and you're all set out to do these things, and yet you're, whether you have friends who are coming up against you and saying, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time with that? Or you have your own doubts, that voice in your head that keeps rattling around. Whatever that is, what can you do to get that out of the way so that you can keep moving forward? I think we talked about this a lot last week with avoiding behavior, because I found that not just with myself, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but with other friends of mine, that as we get closer, as we stand on the brink of being successful, a lot of times there'll be those things that we'll set ourselves up to fail with it. We'll put something in front of ourselves just so that we won't take that step.
Sabotage.
Because honestly, the problem is that we are comfortable with where we are at. Whether or not this is where we want to be, it's, I've gotten used to it. And look, all my friends are here. So why would I want to move out of this area where it's dangerous? I can fall on my face. At the very least, I'm going to get laughed at. At the very best, I'm going to become successful and maybe have to move away from my friends who are happy where they're at. So why not, even if it's just subconsciously, why not throw something in front of me? Or why not read some bad happenstance as a sign that I shouldn't be doing this? Instead of looking at it as training for that next level. It's not trouble, it's training. They're not problems, they're practice. Much like what's going on tonight, we can look at it like, what, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Maybe we should do a regular podcast where we're not going live, but I'm sorry, that's not fun for me.
How does that make you feel about yourself?
The fun. Go ahead, Charles.
I said, how does that make you feel about yourself? Should we do this not live? Is this the crabs keeping us down?
No. That's not part of the equation.
I know.
I don't want to do this not live. Does that make sense? I only want to do this live. I have so much more fun. Whether or not people are calling in, whether or not we're connecting on all 8 cylinders every time, it's such a gas. It's so much fun. It's such a fun ride that I don't think I could do it any other way. I mean, I could, All right. Hey, we didn't say that right. Let's go back and record again. Okay, wait, I didn't hit my mark. Let me try it one more time. And sure, that's fine too. I've done that, and I'm probably going to do it again. But this live thing, too much fun. It's definitely the next level for me.
It's actually feeling like you connect to something.
Yeah.
Or
Whether
someone.
or not it's our listeners,
or some people.
our live listeners.
We connect to our audience, our in-studio audience right now.
That's right. Say hi, in-studio audience. That we have an in-studio audience of 3. And the dog finally chimes in at the very, very end. We are a product of our moment-to-moment choices, which is something of a book that I've been listening to lately, which is and I can never remember it. I don't know why.
Don't you?
Our friend Nolan brought it to my attention. It's the compound factor, the compound effect.
Okay. What is that? What is it about? What does it mean?
Hardy, by Darren Hardy. And it talks about how the small choices that we make right now are going to affect us big time down the line. It's like a plane sitting on the tarmac as it takes off. If it makes just a 1% degree shift, it's going to miss its mark by hundreds of miles. So we are a product of our moment-to-moment choices. It's not just one choice that's like, oh, look, my whole life got ruined because of this, the one time I did this one bad thing. No, absolutely not. It's because you made those other choices, and you kept doing it, and you kept doing it. You know, you're not at an health, you know, we all were very, very healthy in high school and college. You know, most of us, physically fit. And whether or not we have changed since then, it's not because of that one Wendy's burger. It's not because of that one night of ice cream. It's because we did it on a regular basis. And each of those choices started to affect us. It also says in this book, you talked about how if someone were to just change one meal a day and eat healthy, it's not going to have a huge effect on your life right now. But eventually, it's going to be profound. You know, you're going to notice a change in your physique. You're going to notice a change in your weight. You're probably going to notice a change in your energy just by changing that one thing. It compounds upon itself. But it's those moment-to-moment choices. It's not just that you're making that one choice. It's also you make a choice that I'm going to eat healthy during lunch. Well, you know what? I feel better, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'm going to go for a run. You know, each thing starts happening like a domino effect upon each other. So it's those moment-to-moment choices. But it's the consistency conundrum is how to make that first choice and stick with it.
Exactly. Now, I will say, I put out, oh, now we're live. Now we're live on the air. It just came out. I was going to say, I will say that I put out the...
Good morning, No Agenda Stream.
I will say that I put out the phone number so that people could listen to us, and so they could call in and hear us. And just as I was about to tell you, let's not go to the phone lines because this is how people are listening right now. I see that No Agenda picked us up, and we're good to go, sir.
Okay, so to reiterate, we had a friend of ours contact us this week. I'm just going to say this one thing. And he wrote in, what is your best advice on how to turn knowledge into consistent positive action? I can quote positive affirmations till I turn blue, but in 5 minutes, I find myself with negative, destructive thought process derailing my positive energy. So tonight's show is the consistency conundrum. And we're talking about how do you move beyond, and that you've set a goal for yourself. You have these dreams that you're moving forward with. And all of a sudden you have something that blindsides you. How do you keep moving with this thing that you've chosen to do? Do you even want to?
That's a very good question.
Can I ask them to call in now?
Yes, you may.
If you want to call in and talk to us, the number is 218-632-1724. The passcode is 3333 pound.
And you will hear it. The new intro is there. You'll know you're in the right place because it says welcome to the No Agenda live line and gives you instructions for getting into the phone calls. So if you are on the phone line, we might bring you up here in just a minute as you have questions. Now, Sunbug is in on the phone line, but I think she got in to listen to us because the live wasn't going out. So unless she chats me somehow, some way to let me know that she wants to talk, we will assume that she's just listening. because that's safe, right? To always
Yep.
assume things and make things up and go that route. That's safe. We'll do that.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
How we've approached this question many, many times. I think you actually referenced some specific shows that we did on Tosol earlier on Tosol, addressing this. Like sometimes you have to. In fact, I'm going through this, aren't I? I'm going through that. I've come to you multiple times saying I'm not sure what to do about the Bear Crawling live show on Thursday nights. I don't know. It's just an assessment. It's an honest assessment, something to do, because you don't know if you should keep going. You have to have growth. You have to have progress. And when times get tough, it should stop you to look at what's going on, not make you quit, but go, hey, is this worth going over that next mountain, or is it time to take a different path?
Right. So what are you thinking about all that?
I don't know what I'm thinking about all that. Honestly, well, I mean,
look, bus.
both conversations kind of came to the same thing. Is I have a new. I try to keep it short because I take over the show and I get to talking when you ask me questions like this. But
Right.
basically, I have a lot of passion for the other side of live, the show we're doing right now. I have a lot of passion, and my energy is being drawn like a magnet to this show. Because not only is it growing, it's meeting a lot of needs in my life and in everybody else's life. It's also opening doors for us to move forward into what we both have agreed as business partners we want to do. And see, it's more than business partners, but if I use the term life partners, everybody goes into the wrong place. That's not right.
They get a little gleeful. That's what we did wrong tonight. I did not watch my episode of Glee.
There you go, because you weren't here.
That's right.
So the thing is, I'm looking at going, I have a passion for this. I have a passion for Chaos and Coffee, which is my morning show. I have direction. I have definition to both of these. Bear Crawling Live has always been this amalgamous blob of podcasting that has just kind of taken different forms through the years. And I came to you and said, well, I'm changing a lot of different things in my career and in my life. It's time to look at this, and I'm getting your advice. And you gave me some advice, and we changed up the format, which I loved. It worked really well, but it still wasn't enough. It wasn't sexy love time. So, and I mean that
sexy love time.
I mean that in the, you know what I'm talking about. I feel sexy. You look sexy.
I don't think you have a problem with your consistency. I don't think you have a consistency conundrum here. You're
don't?
still following your passion. You're still following your dream. It's starting to take a different shape. And it starts to take such a different shape that it's calling into question your commitment to Bear Crawling Live, or at least what you should do with it, where you should go with it. But I don't think this has really derailed your, unless it's making you question everything you're doing.
Yeah, the consistency part of it is I want to be consistent to me. My consistency is this is where I'm going. I want to be a professional in this field. I want to get paid to do what I love. I want to speak at big events and move people. I want to change lives. That's always been the consistent path in my life. So the question becomes, does this fun, awesome, fun, cool, fun project, did I say fun? Fun project over here, is it pulling me away and wasting time like your bullwhip? When you looked at getting a bullwhip, you're like, I could spend my energy learning to bullwhip and be cool and have a lot of fun with it. Or I could take that energy and focus it on something more productive that I should be doing instead of taking this time away. That's the question I guess I asked. That's the conundrum, is how do I stay consistent, which might not be the path. Now, I see that we have a phone call here. This might be the caller we're looking for. So I am going to unmute it.
Hold them for just a second. Hold them just for a second.
All right.
I want to say that I think that in the stage that it was, not in this new thing, the way you're changing Bear Crawling Live now, in the stage that it was, it's possible that you're outgrowing it. You're actually growing beyond it. It doesn't mean that you don't want to have fun still. It doesn't mean that you still don't want to be the rock god of podcasting. It just means that maybe that's not in the format that it was in, that's not doing it for you anymore.
Right.
Now let's go to caller.
Okay, now we'll go to caller. I got it.
Hello, caller.
Howdy.
Hey, who is this?
Evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Good evening.
Well, I am the one who emailed you guys about the consistency issue.
Woohoo!
Yes. And I want to say I've actually stumbled across a technique in one of the books I've been reading that covers how to change your habits. It's a tracking technique. And basically you take the one habit you want to change and you track it throughout the day for up to 3 weeks to let you know how many times you're doing it. And by making yourself consciously aware that you're doing it, such as my smoking or my soda drinking,
Right.
I have a much better chance of breaking away from that habit because I realize just how much I'm doing it, and I can now make the mental choice of going, you know what, no, that cigarette isn't that important if I have to write it down in my little notebook.
Right.
And after a couple of days of doing that, it's surprising just my lungs actually still work, but it's actually been able to decrease the need, for, in my case, such as smoking, being able to give up that bad habit, stay more consistent with the resolutions I'm creating or want to create for myself.
So you're trying to figure out how to set a path and stick to it. Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Wow.
For years I've done the New Year's resolutions. I've done the, tomorrow morning I'm going to go for that walk, and I, end up sleeping through it, and...
I can't...
I'm sorry.
When you do the New Year's resolution, do you have any length of time that you stick with it?
Usually maybe a day or two.
Right.
I got my hand up. Call on me.
Ooh, Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter. Yeah, Mr. Carter. All right. Here's what I found works for me, sir. And you have to make these decisions, one, for yourself, two, and I mean 100% for yourself. You want to quit smoking, you got to know why you're going to quit smoking. Because the wife doesn't like it, doesn't cut it. Because you shouldn't, doesn't cut it. I couldn't lose weight until I went, I am tired of this. I am tired of walking across the parking lot and being out of breath. It's time to do something about it. So that's number one. You have to 100% be doing it for you. This is just my opinion. He's the therapy. I'm the voice.
I'm not therapy.
I know. But the second thing that works for me is it has to incorporate into your life easily. It has to be easier than going out to smoke. Now, smoking's a hard thing. I haven't had to quit smoking, so I can't help you specifically with that one. But like with the losing weight, I don't make time. And I use the word make. I don't make time to exercise. I'm with you, dude. I will sleep in the morning. I'm not going to the gym at 5 a.m. God doesn't get up before the sunrise because he is the sun. I don't have to get up before the sunrise either. I'm just saying. I don't get that. So, and I work at my desk 10, 12, 15 hours a day. I don't make time to exercise. So I found something that worked for me easily. All I did was start looking at what I ate. You were just saying earlier in the conversation, doing something, tracking it for 3 weeks. I was talking to somebody today about making a budget for their money. And the first thing you got to do is just put it down on paper. What are your bills? What is it that you want to quit? And you see how often you do it, and maybe you tweak it a little bit. Instead of smoking a pack a day, you cut down by 1 cigarette a day or 1 cigarette a week. You make it easy for you, right?
Now, cigarettes are very, very hard. I've had a couple of, my birth mother quit after 40 years of smoking. And I had a friend of mine quit. And the trick is to find whatever it is that works for you. I also had another friend of mine quit just recently, and she just went cold turkey, from what I understand. I'm getting a nod from that. My birth mother and my friend, both of them went to do hypnosis. My birth mother went with a friend of hers. It didn't take for the friend, but it took for her. She had no withdrawal, no nothing. It was just cold turkey done. The same thing with my friend, cold turkey done, no withdrawal, nothing. And then she had gone like that, and she used to reek. She was one of those smokers that you would just get around them and go, oh, please. But she went to a bar one day. She goes, you know what? I think I can have a cigarette. And she broke the seal. And that's a big secret to a lot of the things. You talk about quitting soda. I've quit soda 2 or 3 times for a length of time. One time I quit for over a year. And the problem was I broke the seal. When I broke the seal, I came back with a vengeance. The hardest thing I've ever quit, not drugs, not alcohol, though I haven't done either of those in 8.5 years. The hardest thing I've ever had to quit was dessert. Mentally, it was such a hard thing. It was to get to that decision. I struggled with it, and it was like, I don't want to. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I did it for over a year, and I was fine with it. My body learned to, I went for bananas and for other, sweet fruit, things like that. And then one day I broke the seal. And I've tried to quit again a couple of other times. I just haven't been able to do it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to quit?
Well, okay, let me ask you this, gentlemen. Now, I wrote an article, must have been less than a week ago, that negative moods end up propagating poor choices, specifically when it comes to junk food, etc. How do you guys maintain a positive attitude, or do you guys maintain a positive attitude when you set a goal, or let's say you want to break a habit? Or how do you see positive versus negative attitude? And I'm not talking towards that particular habit. I mean just in general when it comes to habit breaking or positive habit forming.
I think you need to find something that works for you. Something that I found has always worked for me is to treat this, first of all, treat it like a game. Treat it like a game that you're playing so that it's a little bit of fun, so that you can set yourself up to succeed instead of going, oh, my God, I have to do this, and this really sucks, and I don't really want to do this. It's like, okay, what can I do? All right, look, I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but if I don't do it at any time this one day, I'm going to do it this one day, I'm going to sleep in my gym clothes. I'm going to put my shoes at the side of my bed, and I'm going to get up. And if you have a wife or a girlfriend or a husband or boyfriend or whatever, you're going to make them nudge you or something. Turn it into a game of sorts, And when I did my dessert thing, I made it so that there were certain times I could have it. It wasn't all none at all. It was like if I go to a birthday party or some kind of celebration, if it's 4th of July and people put out cake, or if I go to somebody's house and their mom goes, I made this for you, or just somebody prepares it special for me, I'm allowed to eat the freaking cake. I can eat it with great abandon. And I did. And as long as I followed those rules, I was able to keep within the rest of it. And it's just, I made a game out of it. I made it fun. My friends knew it was happening.
It sounds like you're cheating a little bit. What?
No, it's not cheating if you set up. Who cares as long as you do it? Even
I think that's crap, honestly.
Well, you're wrong, my friend. Let me tell you why.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Even pro fitness people allow themselves a cheat day. You get one day a week.
But you used my word.
You
used my word. You said cheat. It's cheating. You're not changing anything.
Yeah, but it's your game. It's your rules.
But the rules just right. Let's go get the steak out back.
That attitude, Charles. If you're going to bring that attitude to the table, it's never going to work. You're going to ruin the game, and it's not going to be fun for anyone.
See, that's the problem. You can lose games. Yes,
Charles.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Here's the thing, though.
Yes,
I'm on Ricky's side on this one.
You're crap too.
If you're not happy with your habit, but you find something you're comfortable with, whether it's a birthday party or a soda when you go to a restaurant, then you've accomplished your goal.
I have a different path. See, now you can't tell me I'm wrong. Ha ha. I just see
you're wrong.
I totally shut up. I totally see it differently.
Shut up, shutting up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I'm gonna mute you.
If anybody else wants to chime in on this, the number is 218-632-1724. The passcode is 3333#.
So my grandfather, you're talking about going cold turkey. My grandfather quit smoking and quit drinking all in one night. He just said, I'm done. He had the mindset, and there's other people out there who can do that. They're like, their life changes as soon as they decide it changes. I decide, not me, I'm putting this in general. I decide that I'm not going to smoke anymore. And you know what? Tomorrow I'm not going to smoke. And it may suck, and I may want to smoke. My body may crave some of that, but my mind and my spirit go, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't desire to do that anymore. Some people can do that. I'm kind of that mindset of when I choose a path, I'm not choosing to deny myself. I'm not, I'm going to ignore this. I still don't understand the why of why you're quitting desserts, Mordant. But we'll get into that. See, for me, it's all about the why. And when I changed my lifestyle for my weight loss, when I went, I'm done with this. I will do whatever it takes to make this work. And I just started using this loseit.com. I used their food budget, basically, and said, here's what I want to do. And they said, okay, in 2 years, you'll lose the weight you want to lose. Said, okay, not quite good enough, so let me see how I can speed it up. And I changed a few things. I did some exercises. I don't exercise regularly, but I said, that's not good enough for me. But I can eat anything I want. I just have to budget it. And if I go over, I go over, and I don't feel guilty, and I don't cheat, and I don't break any rules because there are no rules. I changed my path. I don't want desserts. I don't look at ice cream and go, oh, I wish I could have some, but I've already used my calories. I go, no. If I want ice cream, I'll eat a little bit of ice cream, and I'm good. And if I go over a little bit today, that's fine, because I know in the bigger picture, I'm still losing weight, because my ultimate goal is just walking this path. And honestly, I have not had those moments of cravings, those moments of I wish, because I'm not denying myself anything. I'm choosing to go to this better place that I see as better for myself.
Now, see, here's where I think that how Charles is right.
Right.
Yay!
You found something that works for you.
Yes.
And you're right. It's not about denying yourself. It's about choosing what's right. It's about choosing your path. When I set up those certain things, it was about choosing what was right for me. And I turned it into whatever it was that worked for me at that time. Now, unfortunately, I broke the seal, and that brought everything back, and I brought it back with a vengeance. You know?
Now, let me ask you. Before you broke the seal, that year of no desserts,
Right.
you very un-American person, you. That year, did you have the desire for desserts? Did you go, oh, I wish I could, or did you actually go, you know what, I'm cool, I don't need that?
I was mostly, I'm cool, I don't need that.
Cool.
When I
That's
would have
awesome.
the desire is when I did eat some. And then I knew when it was over, like I went to somebody's birthday party. I was like, I would eat. It wouldn't be like, oh, look, I get to have a piece of cake. I'll have a lovely piece of cake. It's like, oh, look, I get to have a piece of cake. Rah, 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 rah. Eat my piece and maybe something of their piece. And it just, I don't feel good
Right.
afterwards.
I think
But that was within that was in the rules of my game, so it was okay. Did that mean that the next day I was like, oh, I want to eat another piece of cake? No, I didn't. Because I had other things. I had, healthy fruit.
because you're in the toilet puking from eating too much cake the day before.
Yeah, you know it, brother.
I don't know, I just kind of see, when I hear rules, automatically, burr up a little bit. I fight against
Yeah, but
it.
that's, my friend, that's you, and that's your game,
is
and that's the
true.
way you set
It
it
is
up.
true.
And if that works for you, that's great.
It's
But
the
if you're gonna
Matrix.
set- If you're going to
just
set up
fly.
something that works for you for somebody else, and it's not going to work for them, then you got to let them go.
Well, I think what would work for everybody, including what you did, was understanding why. Understanding why you're going to quit desserts. Understanding why you're going to quit smoking. Because every time I wanted to lose weight, and the why was because my mom was harping on me, or because I want to look better for my wife, or because I don't like how the shirt fits. It never worked. When I changed the why to, I am tired of being this way, I'm ready for a change, that's when it took effect. I'm not saying that has to be your reason, but understanding why you do it. If I put my wife before myself, and some people say I should, but I don't, and it's human nature, but I'm honest about it. I don't put her before me in my life because that's just who we are. But if I put her before me in everything, trying to please her would have been a good enough why to change what I did.
Now, listen, here's another way that Charles is right. Anthony Robbins talks about the difference between pushing away from the pain and pulling yourself towards that success. If somebody is like, why are you trying to lose weight? Well, because I don't want to be fat, because I don't want to be overweight, because then they're pushing away from that pain. They're like, oh, no, I don't want to be overweight. So they're going to keep doing that until they get to a certain point. So they get to a weight. They're like, oh, look, I'm not overweight. And then they'll relax. And then a lot of times they'll slide back into what they were before. Now, if you're pulling yourself towards a goal, why do you want to eat healthy? Why do you want to exercise? Because I want to be as healthy as I can be. That's pulling yourself towards the positive. And you're not going to, as you move towards that goal, you want to keep yourself there. So you're not going to let up on that. And it's going to be fun for you. It's not going to be a chore. And that's the difference between pushing away from the pain, which could be because my wife thinks I need to quit, because I feel bad about this, because I don't like this, because the shirt doesn't fit well. And pulling yourself towards that success, towards the pleasure of...
Let me ask you this. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I'm good.
But let me ask you this. Do you find that, and you can have both positive and negative selfish reasons, do you find selfish reasons more motivating than when you're trying to do it for somebody else?
Give me an example.
I want to quit smoking because I want healthier lungs versus I want to quit smoking because my wife tells me I have to.
It has
or
to.
because I no longer feel comfortable in public when I smoke, or I know I think when I'm in...
When we begin our path for self-actualization, when we begin our path for making a better us. People are like, oh, I feel selfish because I'm focused on me. When you first begin that pass, absolutely you have to be selfish, because it is all about whenever you're in the plane and the oxygen mask drop in front of your face, you have to put it on you first before you help your friend, or you're both going to go down. So absolutely, it's if you want to do it because you want to have healthier lungs, or because you just don't like doing it in public or whatever, that is a great motivating factor. If you're doing it because somebody else wants you to, eventually you're going to be like, that's not what I want. It's not
Right.
real. It doesn't touch your core. It doesn't affect you.
I think it's swimming lessons. And as Hugh said, we don't call it drowning. We call it swimming lessons. But in the real sense of swimming lessons, you're on the side of the pool. That's smoking, right? And you might push back. And I got this image when you talked about pushing away from the pain, Mordant, as you push back from the side of the pool. That's to get you started swimming, right? So that might be their catalyst. Society thinks I'm too fat. My work is going to charge me extra on my insurance because I smoke. My wife, who sells health products, doesn't like having a husband who's not healthy. You know, that might be your push back. But here's where we make the decision. We think, oh, we're doing it for them, and we either resent it, we hate it, whatever, treading water, right? We're staying away. And I'm just going to throw you under the bus a little bit more. I'm not saying this is the reason, but your example was a good one. For a year, you stayed away from dessert, but you were treading water. And when that dessert was presented at the side of the pool, instead of swimming towards where you wanted to be, you swam back to where the dessert was. And I think with that whole push away from pain, pull towards positive, I forget how you said it there, how he said it on the book. But that's that image I got. We're in the pool. We pushed away from the sides. Maybe the negative does get us started. But if we don't choose the positive, if we don't change that I want to go here, you can look at your pack of cigarettes. Anybody can go, I'm just tired of this, and I don't want to do it anymore. And it's going to be hard to keep doing that path. But if we don't hold on to that vision of, I just don't want to do it anymore, we'll never swim to the other side of the pool.
When I quit,
where the hot chicks are.
When I quit drinking and doing drugs, it was because I had just turned 40 and had a hellacious party and had a great time, and then some ugly things happened, and I had a couple of my friends sit me down and go, you need to stop for a while. And I was like, yes, you do. Yeah, you're right, I do. So I stopped for a while, and what I would tell people was, not today, but someday I'll go back and drink again. The reason I stayed with it is I started really enjoying the sobriety.
See,
it was just before we did our first Tortuga Palooza, and I really needed to be on my game. And with me drinking, I'm a morning person. I love my mornings. And I had a hard time with mornings after a night of, hard drinking, for me, 3 light beers, and whatever drugs I was using at the time. And so when that went away, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like being sober more. So I stuck with it because it was pulling me towards that, no, I want to have this life. And now it's not, oh, no, I quit drinking. It's like, oh, no, I don't drink. Now I had to rediscover a way to integrate myself into society, because when I first told somebody, oh, I don't drink anymore, I could see a wall close down in their eyes. I'm like, ooh, that didn't work. So now I say something clever like, oh, I don't drink, but I hang out with drinkers, so you're good. And, we both laugh about it, and they know they're okay. They can drink, we're fine, So I also needed to find a way, if I wanted to go to a bar or go out dancing, how can that be fun again? Because I would first go out and be like, oh, this is kind of lame. I'm sober and they're drunk and I'm bored. Eventually I'm like, oh no, I know how to do this and it's fine. But I stuck with it because it became who I was, and I really liked it. And I'm not harsh on anybody who does, goes out to drink socially and responsibly. However, it became better for me this way. And I really enjoy this lifestyle now. And I have a lot more money that I can spend on silly things like, like new microphones.
That's, I love banana cream pies. I love banana pudding.
Coconut cream pie. Oh.
I love ice cream. I love Dairy Queen's Blizzards. And right after I started this whole, honestly, I don't even call it a diet. I just have a food budget that helps me not overeat. And really it has come down to that, is I'll make a plate of food that is well within my numbers for whatever. I have a certain number for the day, and I usually eat about, let's say, 600 or 800 calories for lunch, right? And the whatever I fix is well within that, but I'll get full. At this point in the game, I'm 2 months, 3 months in, whatever, I'm full, I'm going to stop, and I'll put the food to the side and won't finish it, whereas before I would have finished it because I don't like to leave stuff on my plate. That's just, I grew up broke, poor, and starving. You know, I don't like to leave stuff on my plate. But I've gotten rid of that message for a better one going, I love how I'm doing. I love how I'm feeling. I love how I don't see a change, but on the scale I do. And I feel a change. And my wife, right after I started this, my wife called me. She was at Chick-fil-A, and they just came out with their banana pudding milkshake. I'm like, sure, yeah, get me one. Get a small. Get a small. So she brought it home, and I'm eating it. I'm loving it, right? And I go, oh, I need to register this. So let me go to their website to register the calories. And I almost puked, dude. In a a small cup that's like 12 ounces, 896 calories. I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd looked that up. But my nature, my mind at first went, oh yeah, get it. It'll be a small, it'll be fine. But my entire path, my choice in life had stuck, because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I wish I'd seen that before, because I never would have told you to get it, because I don't need it that much. That's right. Ugly, that's gross, and that's not something I want. And what a negative response is, that's not where I'm going. That's where I was.
Right. Now, ultimately, I think we're talking about a bunch of different ways that we can see how this will work for us. And I think the important thing is that if you try one way and it doesn't work for you, you got to find another way. Whether, you know, you do a game thing or you do something else, it doesn't matter. And I just got handed a book by Louise Hay called I Can Do It, How to Use Affirmations to Change Your Life. Oh, this is an awesome book. But you have to try it. There is, you know, you have to keep working at things. There was a quote from a song that I found that I used to listen to by Bruce Cockburn, and the song is Lovers in a Dangerous Time. It came out in 1991. And the quote is, kick at the darkness until it bleeds daylight, which means you find whatever it takes. You keep going at different angles. Oh, I'm going to try to quit smoking this way. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try to quit smoking this way. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try that kind of work, but what else? Just keep moving at it. Now, Nolan, you had talked something about how you had tried affirmations that really don't work for you. It's not really helping you at all. Is that true?
That is true.
That's the boat I'm in.
Now, I can only tell you how they work for me. When I first started doing things, I would always have this mental chatter, which always was like, you know, oh, you're probably going to not work, you know, you're not going to succeed at that. You're probably going to fail at that. You're not going to be very good at that. Why you even try at that? There was a lot of that chatter. What the affirmations did for me, and I do them on a daily basis, and there's a certain way that I do them so that they really sink in. You have to include the emotion behind it. You also have to have the kind of the joyful emotion, which really kicks it in. All that kind of stuff we can talk about. But what happened with me is now, whenever I have a certain thought come to my brain, usually what kicks in is the affirmation. Usually what will happen, instead of sitting there and going, oh, I can't really do that, I don't have that, oh, I can't do that. It's like, oh, well, of course I can. It's more about whether I'm going to move forward in it, or why am I holding myself back. It's those different kind of things. So it clears out the mind chatter for me. That's what the affirmations do for me. They also, for me, help stir the quantum soup, which means it affects reality, because I've done affirmations before, and then the moment I've done them, or at least within a couple of days, I'll see an opportunity that happens about the affirmation I was just doing. So maybe it's not going to get you to move forward. Only you doing that, only you changing who you are as a person. First, it starts with discipline, and then it becomes a habit, which usually takes about 30 days. So then it becomes a habit. Then you've changed who you are. It's not about discipline in the long run. It's about changing who you really are. For me, the affirmations help clear the mind chatter. For me, the affirmations, instead of saying, you're right, I can't do this, it's like, no, I can. And then it gets me to at least try it once. And then maybe at least try it once more.
Well, just listening to you, I even had a revelation that most of the time when I was doing my quote-unquote positive affirmations, I made them into a negative chore. I told myself I had to do them. This was the way it was going to work. So even though I was putting emotion into them, it was actually contradictory emotion, which actually set them up for failure to begin with. So as soon as I can change that mindset, then they'll work for me.
You know, I'm in the similar path that you are. I didn't make them a negative chore. I just never understood that. But along the same path, just using different words to tell the same story, what I've always said is I go internal. I start digging down deep, figuring out why I do what I do so I can change it if I don't like it. Instead of waking up hating that I do this or hating that I let people treat me this way or oh my gosh, my mom guilted me into doing something else again, or I got to go to my in-laws and I really don't want to, but I don't want to cause a problem. Figuring out why I feel this way lets me either change the feeling, because understanding, man, is everything for me. It's the Matrix, dude. Neo couldn't fly until he understood he could fly. I was talking to Mordant last night, told him, and it works here, there's a song that I've heard from the 90s, loved it, but there's a line in the song that says, we all have wings, just some of us don't know why. And that's why I love the Matrix. It's such a great visual representation of that thought, as everybody could do what he did. He was the only one who realized he could do it.
Right.
And that's how I am, is once I realize the why, people look at me and they go, man, you just get things. You just understand things. You're good at computers. Once you get your mindset on something, you do it. I don't understand. You must have a really puzzle-solving mind. It's like, no, I don't see it that way. I don't understand computers. I don't understand puzzles. I'm not autistic. I don't just look at it and go, oh, there's the answer. I understand. I seek to find the why. And not so technical, just the overall universal why. Why do I do this? Why does that do that? Oh, I can't tell you this little circuit board fires off this and runs this code. I can say if I click that, it does this. Once you understand that, you don't have to understand the rest. You can just make it happen. Maybe for you, Nolan, maybe for you, it's, well, okay, if I want the positive affirmations, they'll work for me, and maybe it will. But maybe if you understand, just understanding that being negative is going to stop you and being positive is going to push you. Maybe that's what works for you.
I think that
Give it a shot.
I think that both are true. Finding your why is going to keep you going when you don't want to do something. Well, what's my why here? That's going to keep you moving forward when you're like, oh, I'm tired and I want to go to bed, or I don't want to get out of bed and go to the gym. Well, why you're doing it? Oh, I'm doing it because my wife wants me to. No, you're not. You're going to stay in bed next to your wife. It's like, I want to get out because I want to feel better about myself and I want to make a positive change in my life. And that's the beginning of that. That's your why. What I like about the Matrix also, when I talk about stirring the quantum soup, there's that scene where you get to see things as he sees things, and you see even in the air between everybody is all that coding.
Right.
Because he's able to tap into that, he is able to affect reality to where he can fly, to where other things can happen. It's the same thing as the quantum soup. It's kind of the way quantum physics work. As long as we believe and find our way to tap into that, then you can affect that quantum soup around you, and the opportunities are going to come your way. I think also with the affirmations, you have to watch how you do them. You can't throw in a negative connotation. Well, I don't want to be lazy. The universe doesn't hear don't want to be lazy. All it hears is be lazy.
Right.
Instead, you have to change it to a positive way. I want to be healthy. Yeah. I want to be energetic.
You don't
You have to think happy thoughts if you want to fly.
That's awesome.
We can fly. You
Peter
have to think.
Pan, bringing it in. That's awesome, dude.
This was a gift. This was a gift from one of my studio audience. Yay, studio audience! Yeah. Nothing
Yay.
from the dog this time. Oh, there
it is. But what you were saying is just I've never thought of it that way. And so many times in my life, I don't want to work here anymore. I don't want to go over to my parents' house. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I never thought about it, so you just said it. It really plays into that swimming metaphor. Is you can't say I don't want to go back to the side that's right here where I can touch it. You have to say I want to go over here. And going back to the problem I have with Bear Crawling Live, with the issues, not a problem with the show itself, it's an issue, is that what I phrase it is sexy love time, is I'm not attracted to it right now. I love it. I'm having fun, but I want to go where this path is taking me. So what I phrased it to you, our Mordant Mon, and to you, Nolan, actually, and to Angie who's listening, is I said, how do I get it from over here to kind of being outside of my circle of attraction into my circle of attraction? And all of you gave great advice that will hopefully motivated, because honestly, if it's not going to be in my circle of attraction, it's got to go. Because I have to focus my energy, right? I have to be, you can't go in two directions at once. So if everything doesn't line up on this path, maybe you should cut it for now. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do with the show. I'm talking about universally in your life.
Right.
Right.
When they asked Mother Teresa if she would go to a anti-war rally, if she would help support an anti-war rally. She said, "No, I won't. However, you do a rally for peace, I'm all about it." Okay, and I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
So
she said, "Yo." Don't forget, she said, "Yo" in there. I'm all about it, yo.
I'm all about it, yo. Mama T. She was all about the peace rally, not so much the anti-war rally, because then you're focusing on the war. Because then you're focusing on the negative as opposed to the positive. And that really does affect us. It affects us subconsciously. It certainly affects the quantum soup. It certainly affects the matrix around us. Because it's gonna move towards that war or that peace. It's gonna move towards whatever your language is. So you have to be careful with that. There was a quote by Aristotle. He says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." So I think that's part of what we're talking about. We're talking about creating good habits. And we do that one step at a time. And sometimes I think the AA people got it right. It's a one day at a time thing. It's a one step at a time. Don't think about all the days in front of you. Think about just today. If I can just do this just today, awesome. If I can not smoke just today. If I go to the gym just this once. I'll get out of bed just this once. And then maybe the next day you're like, just this once. One more time. Let me just keep going. Let me not break that seal. And I think that's where we turn into a habit, which takes about 30 days.
I think
Is everybody on that one?
No, I think we're pulling in another phone call possibly. Why don't you put it out one more time? We've got 3 minutes.
All right, we've got 3 minutes. 218-632-1724, passcode 3333. Pound, baby. Pound, yo. Just like Mama T said it.
This is now I want to point out something. Just because you message us on the other side of live, facebook.com/BCN Tosol, doesn't mean we're going to scare you and bring you on the show and make you talk about your issues live on the air. He volunteered for that. He did, so I don't want to scare anybody off.
Right. We didn't have him call. Asked him to call in. He said he might do it, and so it was a good enough show topic, and one that we've hinted at with a lot of our other shows that we wanted to do it, and we're just fortunate that Nolan did call in.
So I just wanted to be clear. I don't want to be pretty clear. There.
And I keep getting notes from my studio audience, and they're good notes. Louise Hayes says the same thing. It takes about 30 days for a habit to form. So if you're trying something, you're like, I tried that and it's just not working, or I'm trying to be positive and it's just not working. The universe keeps crapping on me. Well, yeah, you tried it. You put this smear of positive on this block of negative. What do you expect? You've got this subconscious stuff going. It takes about 30 days to create a habit. It takes about 30 days to create something positive in your life as well. It's during that.
But I expect immediate glitter and roses, though.
Say again?
But I expect immediate glitter and roses. Come on, man.
Some days, you know what? You do it. It's like anything. It's like any kind of. Whenever I go to the gym, even if I've been out for a long time, because I've done this for over 10 years, my body snaps back real quick. Not at the beginning. So you do this long enough, and you're going to get glitter and roses maybe in a day. I've had where I was doing an affirmation, and the next day something huge happened. So it's possible.
So what you're saying is like riding a bike. It's just as painful when you fall off at 5 as it is as painful when you fall off at 45, right?
Yes, but I think you ride that bike farther at 45.
I do believe we have another call here, so I'm going to pull it up. And
this line is now unmuted.
Yes, it is, Mr. The Den Man. How are you
Den
tonight?
Man, welcome to the other side of live.
Welcome. Thank you. It's called drown proofing, not swim lessons. And it's called drown proofing. It's so you don't necessarily have to know how to swim, but you do know how to survive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does make sense.
And on the weight thing, it depends on, you know what you're comfortable at, or at least I do. And as long as you can maintain that comfortability, wow, that's a freaky word.
Will be better.
Well, I mean, as long as you can maintain that sense of comfort, there we go. Your weight shouldn't be a problem. The problem is that we've been conditioned to fear being overweight as opposed to accept being healthy.
Ah, yes, sir.
point.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there's a fitness woman from the 80s and the 90s, Corey Everson, and she talks about it's not about weight, it's about fitness. You know, a lot of us get worried about, well, how much do I weigh and how's it going on the scale. It's not about that. It's about being healthy. If you get on your path to being healthy, everything else is going to fall into place. If you get on your path just to lose weight, all you're going to do is wind up losing weight, and then you'll be fine, and then you're probably going to gain it back. So pull yourself towards that success versus push yourself away from the negative.
But on that, I'm sorry.
The simple thing is fight the man by saying, I'm not going to fear being overweight, but I am going to condition myself to be healthy.
Well said.
Because I was in the military, and I was, 245. I was 6'2". I'm now 6'1". But I was about 240, 245, and I was a big fellow. But getting out of the military, I still tried to maintain that weight. And I'll tell you what happened was it all went away from the muscle and down to the gut. And I spent 10 years getting rid of that.
But we are out of time. So thank you, everybody, for your calls. I'm going to go ahead and pop those off. And I want to thank you for listening. But we are 2 minutes out, so we got to tell everybody where to find us tonight. But I want to say thank you to Nolan for your great questions and calling in and asking more questions. And thank you to the Den Man for coming in and dropping some wisdom there at the end. That is awesome, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. If you are listening to us live and you want to hear this podcast in its total, you can find it at theothersideoflive.com, or it is also available on iTunes, or will be in the next couple of days. Those of you listening to the podcast, we are live every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time at mordantworld.com/NAS. And, of course, the NAS stands for No Agenda Stream.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure about nothing no more. I wanted to pimp something out. We had a radio interview at WREK 91.1 Tech Talk recently where you and I were interviewed, and the link is on the Tosol Facebook page. So you can actually hear that whole interview at facebook.com/BCN Tosol.
That's right. And until you find out otherwise, you can actually catch me live Thursday nights doing the ride along, where we just get to find out more about me, more about the people that I like to talk to. And you're going to get to ride along for the changes as well. So come in. It's a live call-in show here on No Agenda Stream at 9:30 p.m. Thursdays.
You can find both Charles and myself on Instagram, those of you who are looking at the picture-taking app for Android phones and for iPhones. He is under Bear Crawling. I am under Mordant World. Check us out. Check out our lives.
That's right. And you will definitely get my life is definitely my kids and my family. And I don't know if you saw it, sir, but I had a crown for Father's Day.
I did see that. That was so awesome, dude.
I love my son.
Awesome. What was whatever you put underneath it was really, really the best.
Basically, my son has mastered the art of irony by giving me a crown that says "That is cool." That makes me look really uncool when I wear it.
That's beautiful. A thing of beauty, my friend.
Yes,
My latest picture was a picture at Taco Bell. So probably apropos or not apropos for tonight's show.
Well, we're right here at the end, so why don't you take us home?
This is Mordant Mon.
And the swimming to the other side bear.
Ciao, Dreamcatchers.
So raise your glass if you are